Hey everyone, Daniel Leslie back for another Disney dining review.
Today may be another redemption story. We are headed back over to Flying Fish over at the BoardWalk. And last time it was good, but not great. So I'm very curious. We kind of had decided it was a one and done, but we've heard so many people talk about how great it is. And so maybe we just had a bad experience that one night.
This is a lot of people's favorite restaurant on Disney property, which, judging off our last review, I can't imagine why. However, that was the only time we've been there, and we haven't been there since. And that was 3 years ago. It was November of 2022 when we did that. So, you know, everybody can have an off night, a bad experience, whatever. We're going to forget about that experience. And it honestly, like, we showed up early. It was like 20 minutes early, but then they were 25 minutes late on seating us. And then when we got set, it was another 8 or 10 minutes before they ever even showed up to check on us.
So it was kind of a bad start.
It was just a bad start. And they were super busy, but it is what it is. Like, if you're busy, you have to staff up to be ready for that. All that to say, especially like, I get showing up for a reservation, not to totally derail this, but I get showing up for a reservation and having to wait a little bit on normal restaurants. But if it's Disney and I'm guaranteeing with a credit card, they're gonna charge me if I show up late or not at all. I expect to have a table ready fairly quickly whenever I show up.
Very good point. Hopefully, we will not have that issue tonight. The other thing that surprised me after the last video 3 years ago is that several people said how amazing the steak was, and then we got to try the steak. So I think one of us at least is getting a steak tonight.
Weird, right? Because I don't think steak when you hear Flying Fish.
Yeah.
So we got 3 different things, and they were all seafood last time. So, and we went back and we rewatched our review, and I remember this vaguely, but it was like good, not the best seafood we've ever had in our...
And overpriced was kind of like that was kind of our consensus was, it was good, but it was overpriced. So to make it worth it.
Anyway, we are going for dinner tonight. It is full on daylight out there right now, and we are gonna get there, and it's going to be dark when we get back. I am looking forward to a possible redemption story. I'm looking forward to trying this steak. I mean, not a lot, but a handful of people have said this was the best steak, their favorite steak on property, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're gonna see what happens this time. 3 years later, hopefully it's a redemption. I'm excited. Are you ready?
I am.
Let's do this. We have arrived, and so far so good. We got set right away. Our waitress is fantastic, so much better than last time. Okay, I went ahead and got the old-fashioned again, and it does come with 1 large cube. It is Woodford bourbon, Angostura bitters, and some simple syrup, so should be a pretty clean, pretty traditional old-fashioned. When I ordered it, she did say, I hope you got your socks on because it's pretty strong or something like that. She did indicate that it was a strong drink, and it is definitely bourbon forward, pretty well balanced. Again, not my favorite old fashioned on property, but it is pretty good. I would get another one of those. I would get that when I come back again. I think that's a pretty solid old fashioned.
I got the cucumber columns again because I raved about it so much on the last time we did it. I don't really remember it all that well, but I'm excited to try it again. Now I remember why I raved about it. It has so much cucumber flavor that it's like uber refreshing. Like, it's just a perfect summer drink for a hot day. It's not really a hot day today, but I'm gonna enjoy this nonetheless. They also brought out their house-made bread that has like leeks or something in it, and then like a salt and parsley butter. Oh. Okay, so appetizers just came out, and I got the gazpacho. It's a seasonal gazpacho, so it had like a bunch of like really fresh veggies and stuff around the edge, and then he poured in the soupy stuff in the middle. That bite had such a burst of flavor. There's so much going on in there. Really good. All the vegetables, you can just tell, are super uber fresh, and the creaminess of the like tomatoey soup stuff is really good.
And for my appetizer, I got the lobster bisque. It sounded very good, and because I am going with the steak for my meal, I wanted some seafood, being at Flying Fish. I mean, oh man. It's not a huge portion, and there's not a ton of lobster in there, but the piece of lobster that I just had was fantastic. Perfectly cooked, not overly rubbery, and it's not super fishy for the actual bisque itself. Perfect temperature, actually pretty good. Like, that's a pretty tasty bisque. Okay, I'm gonna enjoy this and some of the complimentary bread.
I got the ash-crusted salmon, and it comes with risotto. I'm just gonna try it with just the salmon first. Okay, when I cut into it, I thought it was gonna be a dry, but it's absolutely not. Let me get a little bit of this risotto. I love risotto. This is outstanding.
Okay, here's the big test. Is it the best steak on Disney property? That's pretty good. All right, so I got the New York strip. It has got a wonderful char on it, and that is a pretty sizable piece of meat, but I love just that char on the outside. I ordered it rare, which it is pretty perfectly cooked. Oh man, okay, that's good. I'm gonna eat all of this and give you my thoughts later.
Okay, we are going to chow down and finish this up at home.
All right, we are back.
This is a true redemption story. But before we get into it, if you are looking to plan your next magical vacation, please reach out to us over at Fantastical Vacations. We plan Disney destinations, Universal cruise lines, and all-inclusive resorts.
We did go to Flying Fish, and immediately the experience was so much better than the first time. We checked in, we were still 10 minutes early, but we got set literally right away. That's what I'm used to at Disney restaurants. When you're making an advanced dining reservation, if you have an advanced dining reservation and you show up anywhere around your time, it's generally 5 minutes or less before you get set. That's what I love about the ADRs with Disney World. Yeah, you get charged $10 per person if you don't show up, but I'm fine with that if I just show up and get guaranteed a seat within a few minutes. Like,
yes,
that's what I expect. So fantastic arrival, reception, our waitress came, she was wonderful. Like, the whole thing just started off much better than the last time.
Yes, already redeemed itself in the first 5 minutes that we were there. But let's talk ambiance and theming. And I mean, obviously it's the same restaurant we went to 3 years ago. They had, recently gone through that major refurb, and so they haven't changed anything since then. So they've got the fish on the ceiling and the little scales on the silverware, and I think I said, like, they do fish classy. Like, it feels upscale, but you also get the flying fish concept, so it works. It also is pretty quiet. Because of all the soft goods and everything. And so, I mean, like, you can enjoy your experience without having to yell at the person across the table at you. So we gave ambiance and theming a 4.
Let's talk service. Again, I just said our waitress was fantastic. She was super nice. She gave her opinion. She welcomed us in. She checked on us multiple times. I really did feel like she took ownership of the restaurant, and she was like very much like excited that we were there experiencing her home, which I loved.
She even said things like, "Thank you for taking my recommendations," or "I'm so glad that you are enjoying my recommendations." And she called us by our names every time she came to the table, like Mr. and Mrs. Lowry.
I mean, we made the reservation, so she was probably looking at the ticket before she
still,
walked by. So
it was a nice touch.
It's a nice touch, but not like magic or anything like that. So I did feel like, as great as she wasn't as good as a couple of the other waiters, the wait staff that we had given 5s to. So we gave her just below that at a 4.5, which is still phenomenal.
All right, drinks. So I got that cucumber Collins again, just to see if it was still as good, and it really was. It's refreshing. It's a well-balanced drink. It's one that you can sip on, and you don't feel like you're necessarily drinking an alcoholic beverage, but you definitely are. Like, you can tell there's alcohol in it, so it's worth it, but it's not like too liquor forward, if that makes sense. And then what did you think of your old fashions this time?
Well, it's definitely not that. You definitely know there's liquor in there. It's definitely bourbon forward, but also pretty well balanced. So I did get 2 again, so we were kind of sharing a little bit. You tried them both, so they were the same, basically.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't the last time I got one and then we shared one, and they were drastically different. So,
Yeah.
like, weird. But at least tonight, it was consistent. Like, it tasted the exact same, which is, I think, step number 1 for a good
Yeah.
beverage program. Like, once you settle in on a recipe, it's got to be the same over and over and over and again.
Yeah.
Like, it has to. Like, you're not back there making up different old fashions every time somebody orders one. Like, it needs to be the same every single time. And it was good. They have 1 large cube, fantastic. Woodford, not the bourbon I would choose for my signature old fashioned, but at the same time, it's a good bourbon. It's something I would, don't come after me, but I'd probably just mix it with Coke Zero if I had Woodford. So there's other bourbons that I would rather see in an old fashioned.
You're gonna get a comment on that
I
one.
know, but it was pretty well balanced. It was just a solid standard old fashioned Woodford Reserve bourbon, Angostura bitters, and simple syrup garnished with 2 Luxardo cherries and an orange peel. You got the orange, you got the Angostura bitters, you got all of it. Like, it was a pretty solid old fashioned. I would say the old fashioned was somewhere between a 4 and 4.5. Not the best on property, not even top 5, but probably top 10.
Yeah.
So I'd say on the better of old fashions on property, but not my favorite.
Yeah, and I would say my drink was probably around that same rating, like probably closer to 3.5, 4. Like, it was a really good solid drink, but it's not one that I'm gonna like crave like I do certain drinks that I
Like
have
the
on
salt air
property.
margarita.
I was gonna say it, but then I'm like, I feel like I compare every drink to a salt air margarita. All that to say, we gave drinks a 4.
All right, let's talk food. Much better. Interesting. So I was gonna say much better this time, which it was, but interesting, I just remembered whenever she started talking about the entrees and like going through some of her favorites, she said, and back on the menu is the red snapper wrapped in the potato, the thing that I got last time.
Yeah.
So we didn't get that because
Must have gone away for a while.
it must have gone away for a while, but apparently it was so good they brought it back. And again, I remember it being good. It was not as good as the steak though. So all of you that recommended getting the steak at Flying Fish, which it's not called Flying Cow, so I don't like think steak necessarily, but to be fair, I go to the Boathouse and I don't necessarily think beef based on the name, the Boathouse, but they've got excellent beef over there. So the steak was fantastic. Oh, I didn't even talk about the appetizers. So first off, they bring out the bread, which is a free complimentary included bread service with a special whipped butter with sea salt on top. The bread is a potato and chive. I was gonna say leek, but it's potato and chive, like sourdough. Fantastic. And then we got the soups, and I think the soup was not my favorite. It was not even my favorite lobster bisque ever, but it was solid. The lobster was cooked perfectly. The bisque was not overly fishy. I preferred a little bit creamier.
I could see that.
What'd you
My
think?
gazpacho was good as well. I think both of our soups we decided were probably more like a 3.5, like probably around the 3.5 range. But then the entrees came, and that salmon was, I think, my dish. The whole thing, the salmon, the risotto, the mushrooms, all of it was probably a 5. Like, it was so outstanding.
My steak was a 5. It was fantastic. I wouldn't go so far to say it was the best steak on property, although it is one of the best steaks on property. I think it's better than Steakhouse 71, better than STK. Not necessarily as good as bourbon steak. That filet over there was just so good. I looked though, I wanted to compare the prices. I looked while we were at Flying Fish tonight, I looked at the bourbon steak menu, and that filet that I got when we reviewed it a few weeks ago was $75. I thought it wasn't that expensive. I thought it was.
And we looked at the dish I got too, that Maine lobster pie, and it's gone up like by $10.
It was $95. It's definitely not worth that. But 75 versus my steak tonight was 62. Now, if we take price into consideration, it might rival that bourbon steak. But flavor-wise, consistency, the steak was great tonight. I don't think it was quite to the level of bourbon steak, but it is better than most other steaks. I think it's probably better than Yachtsman. I happen to like bourbon steak better than Yachtsman. But I think that flying fish steak, it was the strip. There's two. There's a filet and a strip. She said the strip, the New York strip, was her favorite steak. It's the one that everybody raves about. Get that steak. Now, the sides that came with it, it was like some weird potato layered slice of a weird...
Potato gratin was what it was.
Okay, it looked like a slice of a potato meatloaf. Like it was shaped like that, just sliced.
It did.
And then green beans. And they were just like a steamed green beans. Both of those were average, totally average, like a 3. But the steak was a 5. So it's hard to rate that entire dish as a 5 when both sides, when 2/3 of the things that are on the plate was a 3. That's my problem here. The steak was phenomenal. I agree with all of you that said get the steak. It was amazing. It was amazing. But the sides weren't that good.
Yeah, so we took that into consideration, along with like that our appetizers were good but not like outstanding, and so we settled on a 4.5 for the food because it really, like, the main entrees were spectacular.
Yeah, I also don't feel right giving that steak less than a 4.5 because of the sides, because the steak was so good. I just can't give the dish a 5 because of those sides. All that to say, if you add all that up and divide by 4, it is a 4.25, which is a solid 0.5 point higher than the last time we went. It got a 3.75 the last time, 3 years ago. 4.25, if you know us, anything above a 4, we will absolutely be back. And I'm excited to take people to Flying Fish now, because now I can confidently say it is fantastic. And it is. It's fantastic.
It is. All right, well, if you're liking these videos, please hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.
We will see you on the next video.